Well, Declan, I stopping by practice yesterday. You guys are drawing a lot of kick return and special teams. How do you think that that's been going this week, the emphasis on special teams?
Yeah, I think it's always a strong emphasis every week. We treat special teams as just as important as offense, defense. It's a third of the game. It's just as important. We put a big emphasis on it every week.
Talking to defensive coaches and talking to Coach Higgins on Hornet Talk, said you guys have really been trying to emphasize tackling this week in practice. How has that been going in terms of repping tackling?
Good. I think we're getting better at it. It's definitely an area where we need to improve. Past 2 weeks, honestly, we've just been poor tacklers, giving up a lot of yards after contact. It's just an area we got to get better at, and it's one thing we've really focused on this week.
Last thing from me, Pittsburg State, I think in terms of the run-pass breakdown, this is the highest run percentage team that you guys have played this year. They run about 56% of the time if you look at their plays. As you guys have studied them, because they're pretty balanced in terms of run and pass, in terms of yardage.
Yeah.
But what have you guys been focused on in terms of what they're going to present to you on Saturday?
Big O line up front. Their running backs are really good too. Yeah, they lead the conference in rushing, so they do a lot of different schemes, a lot of pullers, some zone schemes. Really, we're just putting an emphasis. We just got to get back to playing hard. Past couple weeks we haven't played our best. I think we might be trying to be too perfect lately. We're just getting back to just flying around, having fun.
Kind of taking off Blake's point there, they're top rushing team in the conference. The past couple weeks, been looking to stop the run. What are maybe some things you've been doing practice-wise to maybe prepare for the run game this week?
We started doing some more inside sessions against the scout team. Just a little bit more of an emphasis on fitting gaps correctly, kind of walking through it, jogging through it, and then some full speed reps. I think that's kind of helped us out a lot. Just understanding where we need to fit, which gaps their schemes are going to try and hit in.
I know you looked the last week behind you now, but what are some things that you could pull from that game, giving up the number of points you guys did on defense?
I think we just got to start fast. Obviously being down 24-6, that's not a position you want to be in. I think we kind of just thought we could show up. We have an emphasis on starting fast this week, being ready to go from the jump.
Laney?
Yeah, I just have one to add. Coming off of your guys' first loss this season and then having to play a team like Pitt State, did you kind of have to turn around from this past game quicker than other games?
No, not necessarily. We kind of have a 24-hour rule. Come in Sunday, watch film, learn from your mistakes, get them corrected, then wash it and move on. Monday starts a new week, so that's just how it is. It's a tough league. Every week's big. You just got to go 1-0, so you got to flush it and move on.
Thanks.
Vince?
Just one for me. I imagine you guys are not hitting the panic button, right? Obviously you got to play number 3 if they beat Pitt State. There's no reason to hit the panic button now, right?
Right. Yeah. It's a long season. We're still just, like I said, just focused on going 1-0. You got to take it week by week. It was a tough loss last week. That one hurt, but like I said, you just got to move on from it. One loss doesn't define us. Like I said, it's a long season. You just got to put your head down and work.
All I got, man. Appreciate your time.
How you feeling? I know your ankle's been bothering you. Are you good to go? Are you 100%? How are you feeling after last week, getting a lot of reps?
Yeah, feeling good. It's good to be back. Obviously, sitting out, it's no fun. Kind of feel like I've been letting the team down a little bit those first 4 weeks I was out. But, yeah, feeling good, feeling healthy, ready to go.
Thanks, Dick.
Yep, thank you, guys.
I appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Now that you guys haven't had moments, but in terms of a full game, probably the first real sustained adversity that you guys have faced. Certainly, even though you didn't win that game, you guys came back 24-6 deficit, let it drive, tied the game. Obviously, wish you had a different result. But how do you feel like the team responded to the adversity you had in St. Joe?
I think we responded well. It sucks putting yourself in that position to do that, but there's guys on this team that aren't going to quit, and they're going to fight until the very end, and that's really all you can ask for. I mean, if they're out there giving it their all, trying to do everything they can to win the game. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for.
And then on my sheet here, it said offensive consistency, which you guys kind of consistently move the ball at St. Joseph. So I don't know, maybe that's not the right way to phrase the question. Maybe I don't even know what question I'm asking, but you guys didn't get points maybe as consistently as
Right.
you have in the past, and didn't do as good of a job on third down and in the red zone in the first half especially. What do you feel like prevented you from just getting in that flow that you guys have been able to get into most games and most halves this year?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't have that turnover right before half. I mean, that's bad on my part, but you can't have that. You got to execute in those critical areas. I mean, third downs, fourth downs, red zone, goal line. I mean, those are critical areas of the game, and you got to be almost perfect in those areas. Like, that's just the mindset you got to have going into it. I mean, you can't. You got to score touchdowns, even though points go on the board or points don't go on the board. You got to score touchdowns when you're down there. So that's really it.
And final question for you, from me. Pittsburg State defensively ranked pretty high. They've been pretty strong. I think they're number one against the rush, and done a pretty good job just overall with their defense. What kind of challenges do they pose in terms of being one of the top defenses in the MIAA?
Yeah, I mean, they're a very good defense. I mean, they're number 3 in the country for a reason. Like, they're solid. You gotta play your best. They're gonna play a lot of man, a lot of different looks with zones and stuff. And they're gonna try to get in your face and be aggressive. So we just gotta match that energy and also execute at the same time.
Great. Obviously, you guys pride yourselves offensively getting off to fast starts. What maybe have you changed anything this week after not getting off to a fast start last week, or is it just kind of going back to what's worked for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we all always try to want to score your first possession, and which we did that against them. But you also got to keep it going. It's about being consistent, no matter where you're at on the field, or you can't hurt yourself with penalties, things like that, and put yourself behind the chains. Getting third and longs and things like that. So it's really just about executing on first down, executing on third down when it's not third and long and things like that. So it's still just trusting the offense, trusting our rules, and just running it the right way.
Do you maybe, this is a different game from last year, but last year, 1-point game against these guys, does that kind of give you confidence knowing you could play with anyone in this conference?
Yeah, I mean, at this point I've played a lot of games now, so there's no doubt in my mind that we can play with anybody. I mean, that's going into every single week, that's our mindset. So we are always going to have that chip on our shoulder still. Like Declan said earlier, one loss doesn't define us. So it's just our mindset. Taking this week, taking advantage of the opportunity we got, and worry about going 1-0.
Laney?
Hey, Braden, you've mentioned that your mindset is to always be perfect in the red zone. How do you guys kind of practice that throughout the week and simulate those instances so you can try to be perfect in such a hard, difficult part of the field?
Yeah, you try to you have specific periods within the practice of just straight red zone and goal line and things like that. You try to give good looks that you think what's going to happen, or how you think they might play. But you also got to be prepared for anything. It's also unexpected. Teams switch up sometimes down there after seeing it from previous games, things like that. So you also you got to know where you're going with the ball down there, and then you got to know where you're going if things aren't perfect, like it's drawn up in practice.
And when you're coming off of, a super hard game last week, you have another tough opponent this week, are you guys starting to get a little tired at this point in the season, or how do you just keep your energy high?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta bring your energy every single day in this league, every day to practice, every day to workouts, film, everything. That can't drop. You can't let nothing slip or slide. It's always, you're always trying to be the best every single day. That's our 1%. Just trying to get better each and every day. Maybe you put more energy into something else this day. Maybe you're dragging, hey, I just need to have good energy today. Maybe that's the thing, don't try to put too much on yourself, but just try to find something you can get better at each and every day, because it is a long season and the schedule doesn't get easier each week. So it's just our mindset going into that.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Vince?
One last thing for me, Brandon. Is this especially is this like the moment now where it really kicks in for you guys?
It does. I mean, I mean, there's nothing to lose for us, things like that now. So it's really just say win, go out there, be confident, have fun, love your teammates, and, just try to go get a win.
All I got, man. Appreciate your time as always.
Thank you.
And last week, obviously, in the first half, you went on all cylinders. You came out at halftime. You put together one of the best halves of football I've seen. You handled the adversity. How does that mentality kind of push on into the next week?
It's just taking that mentality and taking it from the jump, just really, don't put yourself in those situations and positions, just have that mindset every time you get the ball, no matter where you're at, have that mindset, hey, every time we get the ball, we're going to try to go score a touchdown. That's just how we got to be and how we got to operate. Thank you all.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. First loss of the season. I mean, obviously you guys come in, you're trying to win every game, but now a little adversity. How's the team responded this week?
We knew that loss was going to be big for us in like the standings and the rankings and whatnot. But we know that our goals were to win the conference, and I think that goal is still in front of us because anything can happen in this league. And the way we've been attacking our preparation this week has been the same as any other week. But we just know we have to really double down, and we have to be perfect from here on out.
You've kind of been on, in terms of kick return, you've been on fire. And, I mean, you guys as a team right now are ranked first in the country in kick returns.
Mm-hmm.
What has, kind of after the Lincoln game, you guys have just been really consistently hard to stop on kick return. What has allowed you to get the kind of flip the field type of positions? And you had a 40-yarder, Kingsley had one, you had a 75-yarder. What's allowed you guys to do that?
In practice, we take it serious every day. We try to harp in on everyone's assignments and who they need to block and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's just when the ball's in your hands, you got to make a play, and when we need it the most, we got to do it. So.
And then Pittsburg State defensively has been one of the top teams in the MIAA in terms of defense this year. What have been the things that you've been scouting, not only against their special teams,
Mm-hmm.
you want to hit some big returns on them, but also in terms of what they are going to do defensively to try to slow you down in the pass game?
We look at their tendencies, who's playing where, and where they play the most, and how they line up to our certain formations and things like that, and ultimately just trying to make the best post snap read that we can make to find grass and get open in grass.
So I want to maybe get off of Blake's question. When you're off that first loss, how quick are you guys turn the page from the last game and move on to the next one?
The very next day. We don't have time to dwell on a loss like that because I feel like we were the better team, but we just didn't come out on fire in the first half. And when you score 6 points in a half, it's kind of tough to win the game. So, yeah.
Kind of too offensive. I know you guys like to got the fast starts. Was it just some things they were doing at you defensively, or just maybe what kind of happened there in the first half?
I don't think it was necessarily anything that the opposing team was doing. I think it was more of our own personal execution and missing certain reads and not being as sharp on certain routes as we need to be, and something just wasn't clicking. I don't necessarily know exactly what, but something just wasn't clicking in the first half.
Like you said too, how can you maybe take that as a positive going forward? I guess as you look ahead to the rest of the year.
Heavy on the film study, seeing what really was wrong, seeing why these routes weren't there, seeing why these concepts weren't working as they should and whatnot, and just trying to find the open grass, like I said earlier, and just yeah.
Thank you. Lane?
Yeah, I just have a couple to add. When you say in a game you just can't figure out what isn't clicking, how do you try to identify what it is that isn't clicking without getting frustrated that you don't know what's not clicking?
Well, that is the first thing, is we have to stay level-headed always, because we can't get too high and too low. So we just try to listen to Coach Higgins because he's watching the game just as we're playing it, and so I think we just try to listen to him a lot on the sidelines. We have good guys in the press box as well that watch the whole game and see everything play out, and we just try to take notes from them and just try to be better on the next possession.
And coming off, an exhausting game like last week, and then you have a big team with Pitt State this week, how do you guys just make sure you're not getting tired at this point in the season?
We condition a lot. Being tired isn't really one of the things that we just do on this team. We're all well conditioned, and yeah.
All right, awesome. Thanks.
Vince?
appreciate your time, though.
Yeah. So this week you're going to be seeing a lot more man.
Yeah.
Than you probably have been in the previous 5 games. What has Coach Harris and Coach Schumacher kind of been working on differently this week going into this really good defense?
Yeah, well, when the team plays man on us, we have to really focus on being flat out of our breaks and being sudden on our releases and keeping the hands off. Because if we can do all those things, then we should be able to create enough separation in the passing game to be able to make those catches and make those plays.
Thanks, Zion.
Thank you.
Sir. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Coach, I know last week, first half, probably not what you wanted to see offensively. What maybe changed for you guys, if anything, in the second half to kind of come back there?
Well, I mean, the first half we didn't play that bad. We actually moved the ball. We just, of course, we scored on our first drive, and then we had one drive where we didn't probably execute the best. And then field position, we got inside the 1 yard line, and we weren't able to get it out of there. So I think really just for us, we weren't as good on third down in the first half. We weren't good on third down really for the whole game, but for the most part, I thought we played okay. I think then, of course, the second half, we didn't really change anything. We just got in a rhythm and we're just playing with confidence. I don't think our confidence was hurt the first half. It was just kind of a weird first half, to be quite honest with you. And I give credit to Missouri Western. They played really well. They really did. And they got some guys that can give you problems up front on the defensive line. They got some good players. So that's kind of how I look at that game from an offensive standpoint.
Looking ahead to Pitt State, I know, again, another team you get to watch, stopping a run. They're a number 1 rush team, also number 1 defensively.
Mm-hmm.
What are maybe some things that you look at them and really present to you guys?
Well, I mean, they're ranked number 3 in the country for a reason, and they're good in all phases. They have a returning starter at quarterback, which I believe is very key in this conference to having success. They're big up front on the offensive line, and you're right. They're able to run the football effectively, and we have to do a much better job this week than we've done the previous 2 weeks in stopping the run, and we have to do a better job of tackling as well, because last year, again, and they're not going to fix anything. It's not like anything was broke. They were a playoff team last year. They won the league. They kept the ball away from us. We got beat 14-13, and they kept the ball away from us for 8 minutes there to end the game. We never got the ball back. So, again, we're going to have to get off the field, and we're going to have to be efficient offensively and make sure that our possessions count, okay, because they're going to be, I believe, the ball control type offense. So, but I know that our players are looking forward to this week. Tough loss last week, but we shut the book on that one and moving on to this week.
Touchdown to the time possession last year. I think they're tops in the conference this year again.
Yeah.
Football. How do you go about trying to keep the defense off the field and get guys offensively back out there?
Well, I mean, we have to be efficient on first down, of course, on offense. And, time of possession, if you go back at analytics nowadays, I mean, time of possession is not a big key factor in success. It really isn't. Explosive plays, yeah, we got to get first downs and all that, but we got to get stops defensively. And when it begins, like last week, I think we gave up maybe 4 third and longs. We got to get off the field. We put them behind the chains, and we got to be able to get off the field. And then, like I said, offensively is we either need to put because the week before against Central Oklahoma, I go back to that game, we definitely didn't win the time of possession. We're not going to win the time of possession in a lot of games, just the way we play. But we were able to have a lot of explosive plays in that Central Oklahoma game. So if you're not getting first downs, then you better be having some of those big plays and putting points on the board. You bet.
Hey, Coach Higgins.
Hey.
When you are coming off a game or a tough game at Mo West, and then you have another tough opponent in Pitt State this week, how do you just kind of make sure that your staff and then also your players aren't getting tired at this point in the season?
Well, this is the profession that we do, that we have chosen, is a very difficult one. And I've been doing it a long time, as you can see with the gray hair and the gray beard that I have. I think I'm one of those coaches too. I don't sugarcoat things. I'm very open in my communication, whether it be with the staff or the players, kind of understanding where we got to get better at to have an opportunity. So, that loss, coming off that loss, was not in a good mood, on the bus ride home. There wasn't even movies being played. There wasn't much talking. And, our expectation level is very high here. And Sunday wasn't that good of a day. We had to move on and start gearing up for Pittsburg State, but we did have to have a team meeting. And I do think in losses you can always learn from a loss, and we were able to watch the film and point some things out where we got to get a lot better. And this is just kind of part of the grind of this profession we're in. And so it's not like we're going to work any hard. Like, it's not like we're going to be up here longer. That's not going to get I'm not going to get home at midnight this week. We're going to do things the way we always do them. We just need to make sure that we're doing them better, and we need to make sure our communication with our players is better. We need to make sure that our fundamentals are better, especially in tackling, all those things. So that's kind of how I look at it. I think we're a good football team. Unfortunately, what happened last week happens in this league. And we know we have a big test in front of us, and we have all the respect in the world. They're the defending MIAA champions. We got to go play at their place. But I believe in our players. I believe we'll be ready to play, and I believe that we'll play better than we did last week. We're going to need to for us to have an opportunity to win.
And I know the job didn't get finished last week, but is it encouraging to know that your team isn't going to give up when it's down by a lot and is going to play until the very last?
Yeah, it is, and I think that's something you can take away from. This team, I will say this about our football program, and very rarely, it's been a long time, but our guys are going to fight. They got a lot of grit to them, and there's a lot of players that have been here, and I've said this before, 4, 5, 6 years, where it means something to them. And yeah, I was disappointed that it took us a half kind of to play better, but I am proud of them for that. Their heart, the character that our guys showed, the resiliency. I mean, we're down 24-6, and it's been like that before here, and we fought back. Last year we fought back against Pitt. We fought back. The game of the year last year, Northwest, we fought back. We were down. I'm just thinking about games where we've been behind in. And we've always been able to do that. I don't think anybody panics. I think our expectation level takes care of the panic, because our guys feel like we should, we are a good football team. We should be a good football team. So, anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on that. And now I've talked so long, now I've even forgot what the original question was. So I started thinking about a lot of stuff there. Sorry.
Answered it.
Vince?
Oh, that's all. Thanks.
All right.
Coach, just one thing I asked Braden this. Is this especially now when comes into play, when you have another team, a powerhouse like Pitt State?
Yeah, I think it's part of it. It should be that way any Saturday, to be honest with you. But yeah, say win, let's just go play. I mean, we got to go there again. Back-to-back road games. We've had 2 of them this year. So what? That's what it is. That's what the hand we're dealt. Just like we got beat last week. Okay, so that's the hand we were dealt. That we earned that, and so yeah, say win. Doesn't matter time, place. Our backs are against the wall. But again, the sun came up the next day on Sunday. As disappointing as that loss was, but we're still a good football team, and I look forward to us showing that we're a good football team on Saturday.
Go ahead, Coach. Get it as always. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you.
I'm going to bounce off Lane's question for a little bit. You guys obviously battled adversity in that second half. How do you instill that into the players?
If I had I mean, I only know one way, probably for me. All right, you probably know what that way is. You played for me. I can't sugarcoat things, so I was disappointed at half. I let him know, but I think to me, it's a gut feeling of when is it the right time to kind of get into him, and when is it the right time to pull back. I don't have a secret solution to that. I don't know what the recipe is. I go by how I feel and my gut feeling. And right, wrong, or indifferent, that's just the way that I am. I think that the message was given to him not only by me, but I know, like, defensively, I know with Coach Porto, we did not play our best game defensively. And because we know we're better than that. Those are the things that are disappointing. So, we might have made a few adjustments, but it was really more just about playing better and quit waiting around. All right, so I guess that was the thing, and disappointed in where you do have some veterans on this team and have been in this league to understand that, if you kind of, not to say that we weren't ready to play, but if you're not playing your best, anybody, and again, Missouri Western, I mean, they're 4-1. I mean, they're 4-1 for a reason, because they're a good football team, and we got beat by a good football team, and I give them credit. But at the same time, I didn't think we played up to our standards, especially in the first half.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, you bet. Is that it? All right, that's easy.